Economy picking is a really useful technique for fast playing, but it tends to produce odd note groupings that can be difficult to fit inside of a measure of music. But using a little bit of math and magic, you can create easy to play, fast and groovy phrases like this Frank Zappa-inspired pentatonic massacre. Check it out. Well, hey there kids, and welcome to a brand new installment of Weekend Wankshop. Here's your best buddy, Uncle Ben. Economy picking is a technique used by players like Eric Johnson, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Tosin Abasi to create really fast lines that don't typically fit into a bar of music like your usual Paul Gilbert straight 16th note kind of phrase. Because of the mechanics of economy picking, it tends to produce lines that are odd numbers, like let's say Eric Johnson's famous fives lick. And while that slightly arrhythmic time feel sounds awesome in the hands of players like that, five notes don't tend to fit inside of a measure of music really neatly. And sometimes you just need a phrase that really, locks into the grid or maybe hooks up with the drum fill that still uses economy picking. On today's lesson, I'm going to show you guys a trick that I use all the time to make economy picked lines that do fit neatly into a measure of music. And this is also a great way to practice your economy picking too, because it doesn't have that slippery, loose kind of time feel. It's something you can sit down with a metronome and practice and improve your economy picking skills. But as always, before we get into it, let's hear it again at step dance speed. And as always, tabs for this lesson are available on my Instagram page at Ben Eller Guitar. Search for hashtag Weekend Wankshop 246, learn how to play the lick, then upload a video of yourself shredding through it, along with the hashtag Weekend Wankshop. Downloadable tabs, bonus lessons, backing tracks, including the short one that I made at the start of this video at a fast and slow speed, are available to my lovely patrons who support me over on my Patreon page. Be sure to go and check that out at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Find the tier package that suits you the best and start reaping the benefits today. Thanks. Okay, so the principle behind this lick is pretty easy to understand. I mentioned in the intro there that one of the most popular economy picking phrases is Eric Johnson's fives lick, which goes kind of like this. I'll use the E minor pentatonic scale here. 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. You know the drill. And basically the way that Eric does this is kind of like this. This is going to be only down to down economy picking, by the way. So if you're a Troy Grady downward pick slanting kind of player like I usually tend to be, this is going to work great for you. So down to down economy picking. Now the way that Eric does those fives is kind of like this. He'll go down, up, and then a single note on the next string here. That's just a solo downstroke. Down, up, down, down. And then what he'll do is to connect that last downstroke back onto the B string and start another fives lick. Down, up, down, down. So it ends up being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And again, the down to down connecting economy picking is a real trademark that you're looking for here. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down. And again, that's a really cool phrase. It just reeks of EJ whenever you play it. Players like Bonamassa and stuff use that as well. But the problem is it's five notes. How do you fit that inside of 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and it's just kind of confusing when you try to like groove with it, which is why whenever Eric does it, it just kind of tends to be a blur of notes that don't necessarily, line up to the grid. Another really common economy picking phrase is this group of three, which again I'll use in the minor pentatonic scale. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Again, there's that connecting downstroke right there. That's a really handy economy picking phrase you can use in pentatonics or like arpeggio playing. Think about like the Miracle Man solo by Zakk Wylde. It's got that same kind of threes feel. But again, threes are great for triplets, if you're playing triplet, 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 that works great. But if you're trying to play something that has that Paul Gilbert kind of vibe, those threes don't really fit in very nicely. But here's the concept, guys. If you take a 5, an Eric Johnson, and connect it to a 3, a Zakk Wylde, so to speak, you end up with 8 notes. 5 plus 3 equals 8. So you can play this as 16th notes and it'll line up over 2 beats worth of music. Again, a 3 plus a 5 gives us an 8, which means it's going to fit nicely over 2 beats worth of music. That's the thing I want you to remember here. So you can use your economy picking and still groove and lock in with the drums and stuff when you play phrases like this. The lick that I made it for you guys to work on today uses a group of 3 and then a group of 5 to create that nice even sort of time feel. It's using the E minor pentatonic scale. Let's check it out. Okay, so the first group of 3 that we're going to play goes like this. So on the high E string here, I just played 15, 12, and then I'm going to play the 15 on the B. So that's down, up, down. That's our group of 3. Now we're going to start our 5 group. Now what you're going to do here is to reach up high with that little finger here and play the 17 on the high E, then the 12. And again, that's a down, up. Really important that when you come from the 3, 1, 2, 3 into this group, that you're connecting those downstrokes, okay? I'll put the picking on the tab. Be sure to follow it really closely or else this is all kind of pointless. You could practice with alternate picking, but whatever. Down, up, down, up, okay? One more time. Down, up, down, up. Just think of it as every group starts with a downstroke. The group of 3 starts with a down. The group of 5 starts with a down. So anyway, the group of 5 is going to be 17, 12. On the B string here, we're going to play 15, 12. And then on the G, just play the 14. Okay, so you have, let's see, 15 to 12 on the E, 15 B, 17, 12 on the E, then back to the B string here, 15, 12, and the 14 on the G. 1 E and a, 2 E and 8 notes, okay? That's what all of this stuff is based around, so I recommend just practicing that little, module, so to speak, over and over until you get a really good smooth feel with it. And again, the picking, follow it closely. Down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. So for the next section here, we're going to continue the same idea, but starting from the B string. So what we're going to do is to play our group of 3, starting off here on the 15th fret B, then the 12th B, 14th G, down, up, down. And then what we're going to do is the 5 group. So reach up here with your little finger and play the 17 on the B, followed by the 12. G string here, play 14, 12. And then the single note on the D string, the 14. So that's same picking. Down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. Next play the same idea, but starting from your G. So on the G string here, we're going to play 14 and 12. Then the 14 on the D. That's our 3 group. 1, 2, 3. And then on the G here, we're going to reach up a little less high this time. We're going to play the 16 on the G, followed by the 12. Then on the D, play 14, 12. A solo 14 on the A. So that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then lastly, from that last downstroke that you just did on the A, 14, all you're going to do is to push that downstroke more onto the 12th D and slide up to 14 to your root note E. So you have the first group, starting from the high E. The second group starting from the B, and the third group starting from the G, and then just coming straight up into the root note. Now that you've got the lick down, I want to show you guys a few quick pointers about economy picking technique, because it's something that really just kicked my ass for years. I could not get this technique down no matter how hard I tried. So let's show you guys a few things that I kind of figured out along the way. Okay, so this is all about the connecting downstrokes, like I mentioned. The one that connects the 3 to the group of 5, and then also the one that connects the group of 5 back to a group of 3. So there's a couple of consecutive downstrokes here, so you're really going to want to focus on those. There's the first one, there's the second one. So again, the best way for me to think of it is the group of 3 starts with a downstroke, the group of 5 starts with a downstroke, It's kind of the easiest way to fit it into your head, just always start with a down. Now the thing about this is that whenever you're economy picking, here's what you don't want to see. Watch my right hand here really close. See how on those connecting downstrokes that I did, it was like 2 downstroke motions in a row, down, down, instead of this. Good economy picking just kind of feels like you're slipping across the strings. See how none of that looks like 2 downstrokes in a row? You know, like I'm really exaggerating that motion for you guys right now, but a lot of times I see players do this. You know, where they kind of do a downstroke and they're through this string and then they just kind of hover here in between the strings and then make a second downstroke motion. It's going to be impossible to do that really fast and be in any kind of control. The real trick is whenever you're doing these connecting downstrokes, do what we call a rest stroke. There's some great videos where Rick Graham talks about this. Rick Graham's a phenomenal, unbelievable player with great economy picking. So you can check out some of his tips on this stuff too. But the idea is that whenever I do those connecting downstrokes, again, the economy picked downstrokes that go from string to string, what I'm really doing with my pick is I'm taking it through, like let's say the B string here. You know, whenever I take it through the B and I'm about to hit this next downstroke on the high E string, what's going on here is that I'm taking that pick through the B and I'm doing what I call parking it. I'm parking it on the high E string. In other words, I'm not trying to stop above it and then do another downstroke. I am sitting on that high E string until my finger is on the note and it's time to push it through more. So if you could get like a really close-up view of my picking on that group of 3 that connects to the group of 5, it would look something like this. You'd see it down, up, and then watch this, down. See how I just parked on the high E? And then you do another downstroke. So down, up, park, down. That's the way I want you to think of it. Down, up, park, down. That high E string, you're not gonna blow through it by accident. It's not like you're gonna go or anything like that. It's got enough tension that you can push your pick through and sit on it, you know? You can see my pick is just sitting on the high E right now. Same right there, whenever I'm doing the G string connecting to the B, again, I'm just parking that thing, sitting on the B until it's time to play that note. You could practice this stuff with like 3-note per string scales or anything like that. Down, up, park, down, up, park, down, up, park. You know? And again, every time I'm doing a connecting downstroke, I'm just sitting on the next string, waiting on my left hand to get its note ready. Down, up, park, down, up, park, down, up, park, and so on. You get the idea. It's one of those things that once you get a feel for it, it just feels extremely fluid and effortless. It will feel, you know, weird for a while. Every new technique you ever learn does. The first time you ever learned an F chord, it probably ate your lunch for weeks. I know it did for me. But nowadays it's just normal, right? So the parking technique I'm talking about, it's gonna feel odd for a little while, but practice licks like this, especially with your metronome, you know? That way you can get a really good feel for playing this stuff in time and grooving with it and getting used to doing that park. Essentially, it kind of feels like the right hand is sort of waiting on the left, you know? Whenever you alternate pick, it's like the hands feel really, you know, really in sync with each other. We're both working at the same time. But whenever you're doing this parking technique that's vital for economy picking, it kind of feels like your right hand gets there first, and then the left hand catches up to it. So you have these moments where it kind of feels like your right hand's working, and then it's kind of waiting, and then it's working some more, and then it's waiting. But that's just vital to the technique. So be sure to practice this stuff, get those parks going on. Don't be afraid to sit on that next string. Again, this is the best way I can demonstrate this to you guys. Park it on that next string. Let your pick just sit on it until it's time to blow through and play that next note. Thank you guys as always for watching. Be sure to let me know any questions or comments you guys have in the comments section below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for new lessons coming at you every single week. You all can follow me on Instagram at Ben Eller Guitars, on Facebook at facebook.com/Uncle Ben Eller. And of course, if you like what you see here on my channel and want to say thanks and get some extra cool stuff, be sure to support me over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Well guys, it's been fun as always, but it's time to get away from that gall darn computer and go practice some grit-tar. So put that thing down, pick up the guitar. Less clicking, more picking.